Hello everyone, and welcome to the Retro Seller, where in today's episode, we won't be looking at a game console or anything like that. Instead, I want to look at something that I've seen on AliExpress for a while now, but for some reason, I never really pulled the trigger on it. And that is one of these things, which is a multi-game cart. This one in particular is for the Nintendo DS, and it has 510 games on it. Besides the Nintendo DS, they have these multi-game carts for a bunch of the retro systems. And this one, I think I got it for about $7 and some odd cents. And I've seen them go for anywhere from that price up into like the $20 range. So they're not that expensive, so that if it turns out that this is actually a piece of crap, you're not really going to break the bank on it. And that's why I figured, $7, I'll just get this thing. They always seemed a little shady to me, just because they're packing a lot of games, in particular the Nintendo DS. Those games have a lot of memory on them, and to squeeze it all in here and for it to function, I don't know if it's going to actually work out that well. But like I said, I was curious to see if they'll work at all and what kind of games they actually have on it. So we don't obviously have to do an unboxing on it. So we'll just jump into it, play a few games on it. This isn't going to be a particularly long video. Try some of the challenging games and see how good or bad this thing is, and if you would want to add this to your video game collection. So here is the 510-in-1 Nintendo 3DS cartridge, straight out of China. So as I said before, I was wondering how you can have 510 ROMs of the size of a 3DS game on this cartridge. And I discovered right here is the reason why. There is a 32 gigabyte micro SD card on it. So that explains that. Now, since it's on an SD card, you might be able to plug this into your computer and upload your own ROMs and kind of customize this thing. I'm not going to do that, but maybe in a future video, if I get any more of these things, if this one works, and maybe I'll give it a shot just to see what you can do with it. So let's put this puppy back in there. And just as a comparison, here is an actual legit Nintendo 3DS cartridge, so you could see, what it looks like in comparison. It's just a little bit different, but essentially it's the same, except for what I noticed here on these pins. You can see in this one, there's grooves over in between the pins where they're not present on this one. So I'm not sure if that will affect this thing's playability, but why don't we plug it in, fire it up, and see if it works. So when you plug it in, this is what you get here. This little SpongeBob's Atlantis SquarePants THQ, whatever the heck that is. So let's click on it and see what's even in here. So down here, it has different slots in here. Nintendo DS, slot 2, whatever that is, Moonshell, Famicom, looks like Super Famicom, Game Boy Color, Mega Drive, PC Engine, Neo Geo, and Atari, and a bunch of blank slots here. When you click on these, it doesn't appear as if there's anything in here. So what I'm wondering is if the emulators are in here, and you can actually add maybe some ROMs from some other systems on it and play them on your DS. I'm curious. That I might try sometime in the future. But let's click on Nintendo DS, and that brings us to this menu down here that has our games. So as you can see, there's new Super Mario Brothers, Percy Jackson. Let's just quick scroll a little bit through it. There being 510 of these bad boys. I am not going to go through every single one of them, but it seems like there's a decent selection here. Unfortunately, it's not in alphabetical order, which is terrible. It doesn't look like there's a search function either, so you just got to scroll until you get to what you want to play. So why don't we jump in just to see if they play decently and call it a day. So unfortunately, I was trying to go out of the Mario game into the main menu of the cartridge, and I tried every possible combination of button. These buttons, the shoulder buttons, start, select. The only way you can get back to the cartridge menu is to hit the home button here and go back to the DS menu, which kind of sucks because then you have to click to get back into the thing. So you would start from scratch at the top of your selection of games. That's a bummer. So I clicked on Lego Star Wars and loaded it up, and looks like it's not Lego Star Wars. This is Duke Nukem. Huh. Well, I might as well play it.
Whoa, careful with those things.
Not bad from the first play. So I'm not going to really try too many games out on this thing, because to be honest with you, as you scroll through these games, there's so many like SpongeBob games, Pokemon stuff, a bunch of Lego Star Wars games, Lego Batman, uh, and an awful lot of games that would probably be bargain bin games, you know, garbage stuff like, you know, Little's Pet Shop, City Friends, whatever that's Sola Torobo, Red the Hunter. There's a lot of real Sally's Salon, a lot of games like that. There's also several repeats. You got some European versions of the game with the US versions of games. Just a bunch of crap. See, you keep seeing these Little's Pet Shop games. Harry Potter, another SpongeBob. I mean, there's a handful of decent games in here. Another SpongeBob. A few Sonic games are in here. See Kung Fu Panda several times in here. There's another Little's Pet Shop. But there's a bunch of garbage on here. I don't know why they put so much of these. Naruto, Shippuden, Naruto, whatever. Little Mermaid. Another Kung Fu Panda. Another Little's Pet Shop one. Garfield, Tale of Two Kitties. Imagine Figure Skater. Really bargain bin garbage in here. So like I said, we're not going to really delve into it much more than what we have. So let's call this quits, huh? That was our look at the Nintendo DS 510 in 1 game cartridge from AliExpress. Well, I said it was probably a little shady, and it kind of is. There were maybe 20 decent games on this. But as far as the rest of it, there are more turds on this thing than I've seen coming out of a rabbit's ass. It's a lot of garbage. Its saving grace is the fact that it has the SD card, and it appears as if you could customize it, add games for some other systems if the emulators are present, and you can turn this into something decent. So in that respect, it's not bad. Maybe there are other versions of this that are better than this, or not. I don't know. I think like a lot of stuff you get on AliExpress, it's kind of going to be hit or miss. But fortunately, in general, you're not going to be spending a crap ton of money on it. But that should do it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.